All right, we'll get this presentation started. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here. I am so proud to be here for this monumental moment. You know, I was thinking today before I got here, it felt like a group project in school where you'd have a bunch of people collaborating on one project, and then there'd always be those few individuals that didn't do much, but they were there for the A grade. That's how I feel. Yes. But I'm happy to be here today. Again, I am Brendan Kalfas. I am privileged to be the mayor of the City of Temecula this year, and I'm honored to MC this celebration. This is a huge moment in our region's history. It's a big deal, and I'm extremely humbled. We all know that cities aren't typically the lead agency in charge of constructing federal highways or interstates, yet here we are. And I must say, we are grateful to be here. We are thankful for the partnerships in our region's pursuit to solve what was ranked as one of the top 10 worst congested freeway segments in the United States. We're changing that ranking. Northbound I-15 has been corrected. And we're not done. We know that the southbound I-15 remains an issue, and we are working on it. As we'll hear today from others, yes, the City of Temecula was the lead agency on this project, but we, all of us here today, and all the entities shown on the back side of the program that was on your seats are a collaborative voice that stood together to make this happen with funding or support letters and with advocacy. There are many dignitaries here to recognize in the audience, including our guests of honor, Congressman Calvert and Congressman Issa. It was the congressional push for the final $50 million grant that saved this $139 million project. The project would have died otherwise. More on this topic later to come. At the time we were awarded the U.S. Department of Transportation Infra Award, Congressman Calvert was our federal representative. 2 decades ago, when the concept of this entire project began to incubate, Congressman Issa was our representative. And he is again representing Temecula today, which is pretty amazing. Thank you both for being here and for this fully constructed Phase 2 Act of Congress. I see we have a few elected Pechanga officials here today, so thank you, Councilman Mark Luker, and thank you, Pechanga Development Corporation Secretary Andrew Maciel. Thank you for being here. Supervisor Washington, who is also Temecula's former mayor and Murrieta's former mayor, thank you for being here. The offices of Senator Ciarto and Assemblywoman Sanchez, many of our neighboring cities, and more. Thank you all for joining us here today. Without further ado, City Manager Aaron Adams has worked for the city for over 30 years, since before this project was even envisioned. He began as Temecula City Manager in 2012. As our city grew, Aaron saw the project grow in design as well through a few iterations, through different public works directors, and through a few different city managers. Aaron sealed the deal as city manager on both Phase 1 and Phase 2. I'd like to welcome our living historian and excellent city manager, I might add, to share the background on Temecula's largest capital improvement project. Welcome, City Manager Aaron Adams.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good morning, everyone. It's a great day. It's a great day to be here to cut the ribbon on a $139 million capital improvement project. And later in the program, Ron Moreno, our Public Works Director, will go into detail on the technical nature of everything that was accomplished with this project. But for me, it's not often in the career of a public employee that you are present in the beginning and the planning of a large-scale project that may span 2 decades or more. And you're still around to see it completed. But that has been my good fortune. Because of this long history, I wanted to personally express some well-deserving thank yous and some appreciation to all the past members of the Temecula City Council whom believed in this project, that continued to carry it on the CIP planning pages despite funding shortfalls and challenges, hoping and trusting the city staff. I see several of you here today. Former Mayor, now 3rd District Supervisor Chuck Washington. We have former mayors Mike Nagar, former mayor Marianne Edwards, former mayor Jeff Comachero. Thank you. And to the current city council, whom also did not give up on the dream that a small Southern California city could take the lead on a federal interstate project, delivering relief to an average of 205,000 drivers each and every day. Mayor Kalfas, Mayor Pro Tem Alexander, Council Members Schwenk, Stewart, and Ron, congratulations, well done. And when a project spans 2 decades, it has successfully outpaced numerous public works directors and key project managers. To mention a few, public works directors in attendance today, and it's great to see you. We have Public Works Director Bill Hughes. We also have Pat Thomas, Ron Moreno, and of course Greg Butler. Let's hear it for them. And there's numerous project managers. We also owe a debt of gratitude to include Amira Tar, Kendra, and Avlin Odviar. Let's hear it for them. And I want to give some special recognition to former Temecula City Manager Sean Nelson, also longtime Temecula Manager, former Lake Elsinore City Manager Grant Yates, and I also saw former Assistant City Manager Jim O'Grady. Let's hear it for them. Thank you. And there's one other particular individual that I really wanted to spotlight briefly, who worked in my office tirelessly behind the scenes, in the shadows. She helped coordinate the infra application, the technical nature of that. She helped also with the technical production of the video that you will see in a few minutes. She deserves a great deal of credit. Her efforts were monumental in the success that we're here today, and that is Betsy Lowry. Thank you, Betsy. And Christine Damco. And we also have members of our lobbying team here who've been in contract with the City of Temecula for over 30 years. They were instrumental in our effort, in our competition, in our advising. I saw David Church and Jamie Jones. Thank you for coming out from DC. We appreciate you being here as well. All right, because of this long history, I do want to share a few personal stories and some insight about this project. Once upon a time, in the City of Temecula's CIP document, there were originally 2 CIP projects for French Valley Parkway Phase 1, the year 2002. Total project costs were estimated at $67.7 million and $5.7 million respectively. The good news, we had cobbled together a little over $15 million. That left an unspecified amount of over $57 million. Despite this challenge, the City of Temecula completed Phase 1 in the year 2014. Then we refocused on Phase 2, and we were aggressive. Every year that went by, the cost of such a project went up. Every year that went by, we attempted to get more creative with Caltrans, finding ways to break up this massive freeway project into acceptable Caltrans standards, and to bring down the overall cost and bring down the overall ask. I often describe this effort as the city was chasing a price tag we can't seem to catch, and I wasn't sure we ever would. I'm going to share something not many people are aware of. The French Valley Parkway Phase 2 was a project that came very close to being erased off the transportation map. It was likely in 2017, 2018, when the city was basically put on notice by RCTC that our project had been holding funds for too long and they were in jeopardy of being reprogrammed elsewhere in the county. This was devastating. We had successfully secured $89 million. We had spent 2 decades saving, engineering, designing, and now these funds were at risk. We were still short $50 million on the overall price tag, as if we needed a bigger fire lit beneath us and more pressure. The City of Temecula put a full court press on a very competitive federal grant process known as INFRA. Round one, we came up unsuccessful. The clock on our existing funds was still ticking. Then came round two. Congressman Calvert had been a champion on this project from the beginning, but nationwide, these transportation dollars were highly competitive. We knew we had a technically strong application and believed we had demonstrated that this stretch of the I-15 was one of the most congested areas in the United States of America. Now, a quick story. I was at a city function at the Community Recreation Center during this era of waiting to hear from Washington. And I got a call on my cell phone, and I didn't recognize the number. I was in the middle of stuff, and I believe I sent it to voicemail. And I got back to the office. I'm running around crazy like I normally do, and I go to check the voicemail, and it's from Congressman Ken Calvert. And it was probably the most expensive call I've ever sent to voicemail, and I apologize, Congressman. And so when I called him back, he said, "Aaron," he says, "I got some good news." And I said, "You're kidding me." And Congressman, you closed the gap. And this is what transpired as it relates to that call. I want to personally thank Congressman Ken Calvert for all the work he put in behind the scenes to shepherd our project. And when the funding list came out for the country, and I saw the little city of Temecula right next to agencies like NASA and transportation departments in major metropolitan areas, it truly felt to me like a David and Goliath story. One other quick story. It was November 2019. We had thrown a big celebratory event on the roof of our parking structure downtown. After all, we had successfully closed our funding gap. We had invited members of Congress, state senators, state assembly members, VIPs from all over, including the Assistant Secretary of the United States Department of Transportation, Caltrans District 8 Director Moore. You get the idea. Now keep in mind, for 2 years, 2 whole years, myself and others had been telling anyone that would listen to us how bad the congestion is on this section of I-15 freeway, making our case wherever we could for the need for funding. So on this particular day, we wanted to be at an elevated position on the parking garage on the deck around 3 p.m. so our dignitaries could see firsthand the northbound gridlock that we were soon be fixing with the money. I distinctly remember taking a group over to the side of the wall, and possibly, Congressman Calvert, it may have been you as well, to see firsthand how bad things were, and there was absolutely no northbound traffic on the I-15 at 3 p.m. I mean, nothing. Almost apocalyptic, except a sporadic few vehicles were zipping by at no less than 80 miles an hour. Now, I could be wrong, but I think I may have said something like this. This has never been seen before. I appreciate your trust that we will fix the problem we know to exist. And the reason being that this happened was there had been a hazmat spill near the county line that closed down nearly every northbound freeway through Temecula at 3 o'clock. So definitely an unusual situation. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for your attention. Again, a special thank you to Congressman Calvert, Congressman Issa. I wouldn't be doing my job well if I didn't plant a seed that we will again need your assistance with our funding gap on phase 3. And a thank you also to Senator Ciardo, Assemblymember Sanchez. We appreciate your office and all the support that you've given us, and from all of our regional stakeholders that are here today, thank you. And since I couldn't prove the traffic to you on our infra grant celebration kickoff day, and we hope to never see it again, it was documented as part of our lobbying efforts in 2019. This is what it would still look like today, and even worse today, if this project had not been constructed. Jonathan, will you please roll the video?
That video just gives me anxiety thinking about the traffic. Special thank you again to City Manager Aaron Adams for seeing us through the second phase of this project. And a special thank you to the foresight of our city engineers who realized that it wasn't just about the merging of the vehicles and capacity. There's so much more to it. I am not an engineer. I will let the head of our Public Works Department and our civil engineer, Mr. Ron Moreno, come up and talk to you about that. Mr.
Thank you very much, Mayor Kalfas. Appreciate it. This long-awaited project introduced connector distributor lanes between Temecula and Murrieta. We call them CD lanes, and as planned, they've eliminated the weaving that goes through the area, just as the mayor mentioned. Previously, the merging movements caused long delays, but the CD lanes are operational now, and as evening hours come and you can see those commuters begin to settle down, and you can see that the merging movements no longer occur, and that has saved people 20 to 30 minutes on their commute times, which is just amazing. Behind us is a video that loops many short progress videos together. It's about 2 hours altogether that we can certainly enjoy watching, at least us engineers do. But Aaron recognized all the city engineers, both past and present, and I'm humbled as the Public Works Director to really thank everybody, the entire team that worked together in our department. Really, really appreciate it. But I'd also like to acknowledge the contractors, the ones that are here. T.Y. Lin, Falcon, Flatiron, so many people that went into putting this together. And they all believed in us. And we really appreciate the U.S. Department of Transportation, our Congressman, Caltrans, WRCOG, RCTC, everybody that believed in us, believed in the city of Temecula, and believed this project was going to be completed. But what is next? What is next is phase 3. And on the backside of your program, it's the critically needed step in order to get to the southbound problem. The southbound problem coming from Murrieta, Lake Elsinore, Menifee, all the way coming down here. That southbound problem is going to be rectified when we put the bridge together and then the future CD lanes in the southbound direction. So we are working on the design and the environmental to the tune of $5 million. Thank you, RCTC. And we are seeking construction funding of about $65 million. So we just ask you believe in us once again. Thank you.
Thank you again, Ron, for taking us across this finish line. You're humble in this incredibly well-designed, massive construction project. A bridge flyover, the CD lanes run about 3 miles along the federal highway. And yes, we are busy. More work on the I-15 is still needed, but the success of this French Valley Parkway Phase 2 has not gone unnoticed. The centerfold of your program provides a glimpse of comments from local social media groups, Murrieta Talk, Temecula Talk, Reddit, the official social media platform. You name it, it's on there. I shared my favorite post about this at the State of the City a few weeks ago, but I like repeating it. It says, "They did it, they actually did it. Those sons of bitches really did fix the freeway. My commute has never been smoother." And I have to say, I don't always agree with Reddit posts, but that one I agree with. And with that, I'll welcome up my Mayor Pro Tem, Ms. Jessica Alexander.
That I know, right? Road hazard. That was a close one. Well, thank you, Mayor. What a blessing to witness the result of this project and the positive impacts it is having on our residents and our valley. To staff and all who work towards this goal, thank you. From an economic standpoint, the project will improve freight delivery from San Diego County, saving money and time. From a public safety standpoint, the new connector and divider lanes provide travel's easy and safer route while freeing up the northbound I-15 for emergency responders when needed. Reduced congestion and idling of vehicles throughout the Temecula Valley should lead to lower emissions and provide air quality and a better quality of life. I'd like to circle back directly to the people. This project will translate into less congestion and more quality time for families and loved ones, or simply for oneself. Just 15 to 20 minutes in the evening equates to approximately an hour and 15 or an hour and a half over a 5-day work period. Some individuals are saving up to 30 minutes a day. That is 2.5 hours a week. I'm going to reiterate that. Some individuals are saving 30 minutes a day to 2.5 hours a week. That's absolutely incredible. To Congressman Calvert and Congressman Issa, we are witnessing the result of your firsthand support. Thank you for all you do in supporting our city and region by funding needed infrastructure projects like this one that makes a huge difference within our area. We are grateful for your representation of the city and of Temecula and our region in Washington, D.C. Thank you.
As you've seen, we cannot thank our congressman enough. Thank you again for everything that you have done and continue to do for our region. And to the Mayor Pro Tem's point, how about the post that states a lot better driving from Poway to Wildomar saved about 40 minutes. That's over 3 hours saved for a 5-hour work week. Over a year, it's 156 hours, which is just about 6.5 full days. And all of those minutes count. As a firefighter that commutes to Orange County, every minute I'm not spending on the freeway, I can spend at work, or more importantly, spend at home with my family. So these are huge, huge time allotments that we cannot overstate for our commuters. With that, I will bring up Councilmember James Stewart.
Well, I'll keep my comments short because pretty much everything that was in my script has already been said. I mean, we almost lost this whole project. If we didn't get that $50 million infra grant, it would have evaporated because the other $50 million, and then we've been starting from square one all over again. So it was super important. And I was the mayor pro tem. Mike Nagar was the mayor that year. We had the meeting with Congressman Calvert. And I'll never forget the meeting. In the meeting, he says, "We'll get you the money." And doggone it, he got us the money. And so thank you, Congressman Calvert. And another little thing, I have a Facebook page that I do all my city stuff on. It's called Temecula Stew. And on my page is this check with a selfie with me with it, still today. That's how important this check was to the city of Temecula. So thank you again, Congressman Calvert and Congressman Issa. And that's why I wore more of a short sleeve shirt. Not that it's hot, it is hot, but we got more work to do. I mean, this is the gateway to the French Valley Parkway right here. And so we're gonna have a lot more asks coming forward. And so we're gonna need both of your support. So thank you very much.
As Councilmember Stewart said, that we are in a good place, but we have 2 more phases to go. And just as we did for the northbound traffic, we have it on the southbound side now. So again, Mr. Congressman, thank you for your past, present, and hopefully future support. Next up, Councilmember Ron.
All right, so I'm going to immediately go off script and just say thank you, everybody, for the hard work and dedication that you put into making this happen. 10 years ago or so, when I first got involved in, the understanding, the importance, the work, the hard work and passion that went into advocating for these funds and for this project, 2 major projects really started at the same time, and our city manager's office and our engineers know, not just the French Valley Parkway and this interchange, but I began building a deck in my backyard. And we had an ongoing bet of which project was going to get done first. And unfortunately, I have to say that you guys won. And that's okay. My wife's happy to know that the deck got pulled out and we're starting a new phase of our life there. But really, it's a phenomenal project that took a lot of effort, a lot of years, and a lot of really dedicated souls working on this. I'm not convinced, and I've said this before, that it is the city's responsibility to subsidize the federal and state government for transportation dollars. We did a heck of a job raising that first $89 million, but we knew it was a long carry to get this thing done. And so reaching out saying, hey, we're a city of 115,000 people. And we were on the list as one of the top 10 most congested sections of freeway in the nation. Now, I'm proud when we're in the top 20 safest cities. Murrieta, I know you always beat us by a couple of notches. But I know we're proud to be on this list. That was not a list we were proud to be on. And we said, enough's enough. We did all the analysis. We had thousands of pages of reports and engineering documents that were sent into Washington, making our case and saying that, look, we know Temecula contributes to this traffic, but is a fraction of what is going on in an international corridor that is choking in our backyard. It's bad for our residents, it's bad for our economy, and it's bad for our nation. And so you gentlemen stepped forward and did something really amazing for our community. And like I said, we're already seeing the results of this. That message has been received in DC, and I think you also got the message that we're going to keep coming back. I haunted your doorways for many years while this was going on. I'm back, and I'm going to continue haunting your doorways for the next few years. So look forward to working with you on this again and making sure we can see this happen. City manager took some very bold risks with our city council at the time, putting a lot of effort into, some failed attempts at funding. It takes a lot of effort, a lot of staff time, a lot of resources, and a lot of funding on our own to move this forward. But we knew that this was going to be successful one day, and it was from our representatives and their support, and folks like Murrieta. When we created this task force, my partner in crime was Mike Nagar. We sat on the co-committees there, and Mr. Ingram from Murrieta joined on board. And we created this phenomenal coalition. That video you showed, I remember when we put that together, I said, we need something super dramatic, and it needs to sound like Jurassic Park, and it needs to have sort of the worst examples of things that have happened on our freeways. Aaron Adams and I, on one trip in particular during the infra grant, getting toward the end of that phase, we flew up to DC. Aaron's luggage was lost along the way. Sort of a weird coincidence. His father was actually in DC at the time. Aaron had no clothing whatsoever. He's showing up to this meeting in his father's suit. So for you parents out there, just know your job is never done, okay? But he shows up in his father's suit. We do a grueling day of lobbying and trying to make our voice heard. We show this dramatic video at the Department of Transportation, and we weren't quite sure how it was going to be received, and they started laughing at the end of the video. And I thought, oh man, swing and a miss. And they said, only California would come here with a movie. And I was like, yes, but you're going to remember us. And they did, thank God. So I appreciate all the support we've had from everybody over the years. This task force is ongoing. Councilmember Stewart and I, our Deputy City Manager Luke Watson, Public Works Director Ron Moreno, we're all heading to Sacramento next week, along with all of our partner cities on this RCTC. Lori Stone, thank you for leading this effort and continuing the advocacy at our state's capital. The state and federal funding for this project is what we're celebrating here today. We're grateful for that, but let's be honest, the state housing mandates without future infrastructure adds complexities. I'll stop to say that as we're focused on today's celebration, the needs are real. We need to make sure that we align our housing needs with our infrastructure needs, and we're going to continue advocating on behalf of the city of Temecula and doing the hard work that we do as a city. The benefits cannot be overstated. This has been a phenomenal shift and one of the hallmark events that this city has witnessed. Thank you all again for being here and celebrating this with us.
When I talk about group projects and some people putting in more effort than others, Councilmember Ron is one of those ones that put in the most amount of effort. So thank you again, Councilmember Ron, and thank you for all the lobbying you do, not only at our state level, but also our federal level. And I'm heading to DC in a few weeks here, so I'll have to get some pointers from you after this. Next up, we have Councilmember Schwenk.
Thank you very much, Mayor Kalfas. I'd certainly like to just start and add to what's been conveyed so far in appreciation for securing $50 million for this project and for our city. We're certainly grateful for that, clearly. And again, the stakes. So I will say I'm not going off script, so it kind of gets weird when now I'm going to say something that it kind of backs up on yours. So we know the stakes were high, right? Knowing that if you're going to lose, $50 million from, state funding for a project like this, for a federal grant, and not getting that, French Valley Parkway could have died. This project, at least in our lifetime, probably would have died. And we would sort of be scrambling, trying to figure out how we're going to do that. So thank you both. Very much appreciated. So while the city's overall goal is to continue to cultivate, high-paying jobs locally here and find ways to alleviate congestion, commuting altogether, we simply cannot overlook the current economic context of Southern California, and that it needs many forms of transportation for the residents here in our region. And we're continuing to seek the best economic ecosystem solutions for our city and for our region, while trying to balance the housing needs that Councilmember Ron brought up. And so part of that is this bigger regional picture and these significant regional projects. And we recognize the value benefits of the I-15 French Valley Parkway Phase 2 project, and it's already enhancing overall well-being of residents and our businesses. And let's not forget that we are Temecula Valley wine country. We are a tourist destination. Let's make it easy for the visitors to get here, right? So they can enjoy our wineries. They can enjoy Pechanga Resort and Casino. They can enjoy Old Town Temecula. That's what we want. But more importantly, allowing the residents, the citizens of Temecula, the freedom to move about their city and the valley and the region with less friction, vastly improving their quality of life right here in the city of Temecula. So congrats to all of us. We pat ourselves on the back, but we need to get Phase 3 and Phase 4 done as well. But I'm also confident that we will get that done. We will make this project whole, and our city and our region will be better for it. And then finally, the city would also like to recognize both Congressman Calvert and Congressman Issa for their efforts on the Murrieta Creek Flood Control Project, for pushing through significant appropriations to the tune of about $40 million. This is another project, yeah. This is another project that will benefit Temecula, Murrieta, and cities in the surrounding area by keeping the creek flowing and to prevent floods. And while I have the mic, I had to say that. So we appreciate all the work that you're doing. We appreciate your presence here. And with that, we have a small token of appreciation for you both.
Thank you, Councilmember Swank. Yes, like he said, we do have a few honorary signs to our guests of honor, Congressman Calvert and Congressman Issa. If you could take center stage up here with me, and if my council colleagues can all join me as well as City Manager Aaron Adams. I'm not sure if I saw Kevin here yet. Did Kevin make it? Stuck in traffic. And Luke and Ron, if you want to come up here as well. We're going to take much bigger group shots later. We have some signs here. Welcome, Congressman.
Thank you, Mayor. See if TSA will let us take them on the plane.
And Congressman, we would love to hear from you. Whichever one would want to speak first. We want to hear from both of you, but thank you again.
We're not going to flip for it because we're the same age, and he's heavy enough. I'm not going to try and flip him. I'm the introduction for Ken Calvert. Just understand that, because the importance of why we're here today goes back to when I was a brand new congressman in 2001, and it was actually the late Jerry Lewis who was the big fish when it came to appropriations, and all of us relied on Jerry. Now, fortunately, when I came in, Ken had already been here a while. He'd sucked up to Jerry Lewis, and Jerry Lewis was willing to put him on the Appropriations Committee, which was critical that we, in fact, have somebody new coming up through the seniority process. And I've been honored to represent Temecula, then not Temecula, then Temecula, then not Temecula, then Temecula again. And each one of those has pretty much been a trade with Ken. Each time, Ken has said nothing about getting Temecula. And each time he loses it, he says, "You took Temecula from me." That's been a story. But today, as I represent from the Mexican border all the way up here, I think the comments made about the federal nexus of the massive amount of traffic that comes through, not about the on and the off ramps here because of the growth in population, but literally because this is an international corridor. And so, as I said, my job is to introduce Ken, because each time Ken has lost the district, he hasn't lost the interest and the willingness to champion for all of you the needs of this district. There's never been a time when one of us has controlled it or the other that Ken hasn't been the go-to, especially after he rose in rank and Jerry Lewis retired. He's been the one who has championed the water projects, the other projects, and particularly this part of infrastructure. So again, please welcome Ken Calvert.
This is going to really cost me, folks. I mean, I'm going to be buying lunch for Darrell for the next 5 years. But you know, when we talk about the I-15 corridor, it's not just for Temecula and Murrieta. It's a regional project, obviously. It's important to Corona. It's important to Lake Elsinore. It's important to this entire community, obviously, Wildomar, Menifee, all of this region. And so we need to continue to put money in it. It's been frustrating, I know, for everybody here, how long things take. And I certainly share that frustration. And Darrell and I are going to continue to work together to make sure we get the resources to get this project built out. Every time I drive down the I-15 or up the I-15, and I look at the middle part of that freeway, which is obviously the area that needs to be expanded in 2 lanes in each direction, and how long it takes you to get through an environmental impact report, it drives me nuts. I mean, we can waive CEQA to build SOCOM Stadium in LA, but we can't do that to build freeway on existing right-of-way. So it doesn't seem to me to make a lot of sense. So we need to work on that, Darrell. But in this process, I worked with Elaine Chow. Elaine's an old friend of mine. I'm working with her husband now, who's now my counterpart on appropriations, Mitch McConnell, who chairs Defense Appropriations in the United States Senate. I chair it in the House, and so I still see Elaine quite a bit, and she was very helpful in helping us get this money. And it is also important that you engage the support of the United States Marine Corps. The Marines were having problems getting to March Air Force Base, obviously, and if something happens, and the way the world is right now, we may need to get those Marines to March Air Force Base. So that's because they deploy out of March Air Force Base. So this is going to be extremely important to them. And so the regional importance of this cannot be underestimated. And so let's just keep on doing this. Let's keep on getting money for this region. This is the fastest growing region in Southern California, maybe in the entire state. And we need to make sure the resources are here. You pay a lot of taxes. You deserve to get it back in some form of infrastructure. So we're going to work together, Darrell and I, to make sure that happens. So thank you everybody. God bless, and have a great day.
Fastest growing region in the state of California. We completely agree with you that we continue to need the help and support from our congressmen. So thank you again for our congressman. Next up, we have our project partners responsible that contributed funding and support. Our excellent working relationship with Caltrans continues to be productive, and we are very grateful for that. Caltrans District 8 Director Catalino Pinning played a key part of our task force back in 2018. He could not be here today since he is under the weather, so we welcome Deputy Director Hytham on behalf of Caltrans. Welcome.
Good morning, everyone. I'm pleased to be here with you to celebrate the completion of Phase 2 of the I-15 French Valley Parkway improvement. I want to start off by thanking the City of Temecula for inviting me and allowing me the opportunity to speak on the cumulative work that began in 2023. I want to acknowledge and pay a tribute to the City of Temecula, Riverside County Transportation Department, and Riverside County Transportation Commission, who have added in making this project possible through collaboration and dedication by enhancing and connecting our transportation network. This project highlights our collective belief in putting safety first and showcasing how transformative change can be when you focus on strengthening stewardship. By focusing on reducing congestion that occurs during the peak commuters' hours. This helps to create a more vibrant, livable place and minimize the potential of road injuries. I'm happy to witness the end of this phase and how it will bring about a tangible solution to the user of this interstate. I welcome the beginning of the next phase as this harbor a future where we advance equity and livability in our community. We at Caltrans will remain diligent in our mission to provide a thriving and connect California by improving lives and community through our transportation system. Thank you for having me here.
And we partner with RCTC, also known as Riverside County Transportation Commission, on large regional projects throughout our area. RCTC allocated a significant portion of state funds that made this project possible. We welcome Executive Director Aaron Hake, who is with us today. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning, Temecula. Improving mobility in Riverside County is a team sport. And RCTC is a team, literally, because every city and supervisorial district in the county is on the roster. And our players here today, I'll start with our past chairman, County Supervisor Chuck Washington, Commissioner Cindy Warren from Murrieta, James Stewart from Temecula, and we have some commissioners emeritus here, Matt Ron, and where's Mike Nagar? Oh, he's here somewhere. Anyway, we have a great team of players, and on a team, and in this case, we have 32 jurisdictions. Everyone wants to make the starting lineup on the team. Everyone wants their project first. Everyone wants the funding. This fosters healthy competition and a pursuit of excellence that makes the whole team, the whole region, better. And in this case, Temecula fostered that healthy competition, rose to the top, and was successful here. Each player contributes to the victory. The commission early on committed funds to this project. It's been referenced many times here. The funding that was in jeopardy was state funding that the commission has the opportunity to recommend to the California Transportation Commission for programming. Back in 2006, the commission first recognized this project as a priority and programmed funds for the French Valley Parkway. And through recessions and reductions in revenue, this project was always, at risk of its funding being lost. And there came a moment where the city needed to act, and as you've heard, they did. And as with any winning team, had tough competition. To get this grant, it was not easy. Not only were you competing against other big cities across the nation, New York, LA, Seattle, the list goes on, you were also competing against a really, really great competitor within your own county from an agency whose acronym rhymes with RCTC. That was a joke. You even beat us. And I think it's awesome. Money to this county, money to this region helps everyone. It helps the people of this county. That's what we are here for. The victory didn't happen overnight, though. As with any World Series or Super Bowl, the victory begins at the draft, and that's with all the people that you've been introduced here today that made this project happen from many, many agencies. What I'd like to do now is pivot to the future because RCTC remains engaged with getting the next phase of French Valley Parkway done. As you've heard, we've already put money on French Valley Parkway Phase 3 for design. We're with you as you get that started, and we are seeking with you opportunities to get the rest of this funded. I do want to mention that French Valley Parkway Phase 3 is a project in RCTC's adopted traffic relief plan. This is our $30 billion, 30-year vision for the future of transportation in Riverside County that was unanimously adopted by the Commission. We need funding for that traffic relief plan. This project is a cornerstone of it, and we will be working with you and your communities to find a way to get that and many other projects in this region funded. Because I want to remind everyone here where we've come from. Now, RCTC was formed about 50 years ago, and at that time, RCTC was formed to be a local solution to state and federal funding gaps that were not supporting the growth of this region. 50 years ago, the population of this particular area of the county was about 49,000 people. Today, it's close to 500,000. And will only continue to grow. So we must keep relentlessly pursuing progress, relentlessly pursuing funding, and getting these projects done. So let's keep it moving. Thank you.
Next up, we will bring up an individual who just came off an excellent General Assembly at Pechanga this past Thursday. Western Regional Council of Governments Executive Director, Mr. Kurt Wilson.
Well, congratulations on your creativity and your persistence, really on your persistence for getting this project through. So I'm here on behalf of our executive committee. We have a number of current and former executive committee members here. Would you please stand to be recognized? I'm looking right at some of you, so I... I'm not quite as brave as Aaron as to try to call them out by sight from up here, so I appreciate that. So at WRCOG, we get the pleasure of funding projects like this. So we get to sort of dole out tens of millions of dollars. But the mayor talked about that group project, and I understand what he means because I'm sort of in that same spot where the other people do all the hard work. I get to just sort of sign my name to a couple of things. There's a lot of technical work that happens, and we have Chris Gray and Cameron Brown here with us who handle all that stuff so that I rarely even have to see any of it. So thank you to Chris and Cameron for all of your work on this project and the multiple phases. And then we have the executive committee, the folks that you just saw. So they do the difficult job. Most of you know the hardest part about doling out money is figuring out who's going to get it. That's very difficult. So we have this process that they created. And with that process, the final say for that is that executive committee. Those same folks who just stood are the same ones who give final say to say, yes, we're going to give more money to this project because it makes a whole lot of sense. So they do a lot of that work. They get it done. And like Aaron said, it's difficult because they have to vote on something that may not be in their area. That takes a lot of partnership. And that's because the way that they have managed to work with each other, whether it's a WRCOG or whether it's RCTC, is really for the benefit of the region. So the same way that we look to our congressional partners and ask them to take a look beyond just sort of the boundary of what they represent, that's what the executive committee does. So congratulations to all of you. You are serving your constituents well, and we look forward to the next couple of phases.
I think you may win the award for best tie out there today as well. Next up, we're going to bring up the former mayor of Temecula, former mayor of Murrieta, the chair of WRCOG 3 times, and RCTC as well. Supervisor for 10 years who has supported this project from all different perspectives. Welcome, Supervisor Chuck Washington.
Thank you, Mayor. I was standing over next to Betsy because I wanted to thank her for giving me a heads up as to what colors to wear today so that I can match the balloons. Thank you, Betsy. Good morning, and thank you to the City of Temecula for putting together this celebration where we can take a moment to recognize an incredible accomplishment for our region. Off script a bit. This is kind of sentimental for me because when I left the Murrieta City Council in 1999, I said, I will never run for public office again. People yell at you and they tell you they hate you, and yet, here I am, all these years later, and people are talking about, well, he was chair of this and chair of that, and you know, it's kind of like grandkids. To get them, you got to get older, right? So here I am, been doing it, love it. This project has gotten so much attention. The mayor alluded to it again. He said it in his State of the City, and we all know it received some major kudos on Reddit. If you attended the State of the City, you heard it mentioned there. 2 years ago, many of us gathered here on Valentine's Day to commemorate the groundbreaking, and I can say without a doubt that I love this bridge. It felt like being on a ride at Disneyland. But that's not why we built it, right? We built it to meet the needs of this blossoming region. Several of the speakers have mentioned that we are the fastest growing county in the state. The numbers bear that out. Sometimes the numbers don't exactly point to this region is the fastest growing region in Riverside County. My district, which includes Temecula, Murrieta, Menifee, Wildomar, French Valley, which is 43,000 residents, our largest unincorporated community in the county. There are a lot of people moving to Riverside County and moving right here. So in addition to being an international corridor, this is home for a lot of folks. We're still trying to get to work, get the kids to school, and you know it goes on and on from there. We don't need the statistics to tell us that people are moving here, but we do need to meet the moment and meet the demand. And while this project has been many years in the making, we aren't done yet. Residents old and new and our growing number of tourists are looking forward to phases 3 and 4 of the I-15 French Valley Parkway Improvement Project. Only by continuing to work together, the city, the county, WRCOG, RCTC, with our state and federal partners, can we bring the rest of this project to the finish line. Thank you to all of our vital partners here today whose commitment to our residents' quality of life has never wavered. Because of this dedication, the 3rd District will continue to be the place to live, work, and thrive. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor. And I know I saw people from Assemblymember Kate Sanchez's office as well as Ciarto's office. If you'd like to both come up, we would love to hear from you. Welcome.
Good morning. On behalf of Senator Kelly Ciarto, I would like to congratulate everyone who worked on this project. It was much needed, and I thoroughly enjoy taking it from my parents' house back to my house in Murrieta, so it has cut down my driving time quite a bit. On behalf of the senator, I would like to present a certificate on the completion of Phase 2.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
My speechwriters were all busy, so I'll keep it short. On behalf of Kate Sanchez and all of our constituents, we would like to thank everybody from the Congressman to the construction workers for all their hard work getting this vital project done for national security and for people of our region. So thank you, and I also have a certificate for the City of Temecula.
I didn't realize they were bringing certificates, so we whipped one up together real quick here. and framed it.
Thank you all for those certificates. In closing here, well, first, thanks Public Works for putting up these fans. I think that's helped us all a little bit in here. And on behalf of the City of Temecula, I want to extend our heartfelt thank you to everyone who contributed to the success of this important infrastructure project. And again, I know we've said it a few times, and we're going to say it again, a special thank you to our Congressman here today. Again, we have so much gratitude to our Public Works Department and our Public Works staff for the City of Temecula, both past and present, whose hard work and commitment to never give up on the largest project in the city's history possible. So thank you, our Public Works Department. Now, if we could all have our guests of honor, my council colleagues, all electeds that are here today, and our congressmen involved in the ribbon cutting behind us, we will take a large picture and a large group photo as we commemorate this milestone together. Thank you all again for being here.